Watch how the white horse draws away the pursuers, on its own to save its master. It is quickly caught up by Japanese soldiers, and eventually captured by them in the water. Then it is tied to a stone pillar. Several soldiers whip the horse hard. The intense pain makes it neigh to the sky. Before long wounds appear on the white horse's body, even though he was beaten black and blue. The white horse refused to submit to the Japanese. He was born a Chinese horse, and his spirit is that of a Chinese warrior. Even when he was tortured and collapsed on the ground, he still refused to bow his head and submit to the Japanese. This horse's name is Feifei. He was born on the Nilek grassland in Xinjiang. This horse is extraordinary, and many people have wanted to tame him. But in the end, no one succeeded. Until one day, Lao Shu, the company commander of the 8th Route Army, received an order from his SU. He was told to form a cavalry company as soon as possible. So Lao Shu came to the farm to select 100 war horses. Everyone else had chosen their favorite horse, but company commander Lao Shu could not find one he liked after looking around. Frustrated, he had no choice but to go to the river to wash his face and clear his head. Suddenly, the sound of a horse's neigh attracted him. He quickly got up to check and saw a fine horse standing there. Lao Shu excitedly ran towards the white horse. This was the war horse of his dreams. He came to the white horse, found the right moment, and jumped on its back. But he was thrown off by Feifei after only a few steps. Lao Shu secretly vowed to tame it, so he mounted the horse again. Feifei wanted to teach him a lesson. He deliberately ran with him. The final emergency brake caused Lao Shu to fall again. Lao Shu, unwilling to accept this, pointed at Feifei, telling it not to leave. Then Lao Shu found a bundle of rope. He wanted to use it to restrain Feifei, but as soon as the rope was put on, Feifei immediately started running, and so Lao Shu was dragged by Feifei for hundreds of meters. His butt was almost rubbed raw, but he still would not let go. Feifei was not tamed even when the rope broke in the end. Feifei dragged the rope and disappeared in front of Lao Shu. Lao Shu was so angry that he lay down on the ground. Not only did he fail to tame Feifei, but he also ended up with injuries. In the following days, Lao Shu came here every day to wait for Feifei, but Feifei never appeared again. There was only one day left before he had to return to the team. Lao Shu was unwilling to give up, so he came here again to look for Feifei. Sure enough, he found Feifei caught in a net in the woods. Immediately afterwards, a hunting rifle was aimed at Feifei. Just as he was about to pull the trigger, Lao Shu leaped forward and knocked the hunter to the ground. Feifei was lucky to escape this disaster. Lao Shu grabbed the farm owner and questioned him. Why did you shoot at Feifei? It turns out the farm owner once tried to tame Feifei, but Feifei ruined his life.
他贴在我的下身，把我贴成废人。废人，你懂吗？
The farm owner shot it, because he did not want anyone else to regret it for life like him. Just as the two were at a loss, Feifei arrived behind them at this moment. The farm owner was so scared that he rolled into the river. To repay him for saving his life, Feifei voluntarily followed company commander Lao Shu back to the army. It was not only a fine horse, but also very understanding. When Lao Shu fell and was injured, Feifei would voluntarily carry him home. Soon, war came, and Lao Shu received orders to attack a Japanese stronghold. But the Japanese are numerous and well-equipped. Trying to charge directly at them is suicide. Lao Shu looked at Feifei and came up with a plan. He first sent a horse charging towards the Japanese stronghold. The Japanese thought it was a wild horse. They excitedly said they would have meat tonight. Just as all the Japanese were discussing whether to braise or steam it, Lao Shu immediately leaned to the side on Feifei's body, charged towards the Japanese stronghold. The Japanese saw a white horse. They rushed to grab it, but Old Ma jumped back on its back. He caught them completely off guard. Look closely. The 8th Route Army's cavalry company is charging. Unexpectedly, they were blocked by the Japanese stronghold and suffered heavy casualties. A soldier looked at the stronghold, and then dismounted and directly assembled the Japanese's mortar. Then he takes out a grenade. He blows it up and charges. Just now, Lao Shu, the 8th Route Army Company commander, in order to destroy the Japanese stronghold, leaned to the side, hid behind Feifei, and charged into the Japanese position. Then several Japanese soldiers were instantly killed by Lao Shu. The man and his horse coordinate perfectly. Afterward, Feifei kicked the Japanese machine gun to the ground. Lao Shu took the opportunity to throw the grenade on the ground. In an instant, the Japanese soldiers were blown to smithereens. At the same time, the remaining troops charged forward. Thus, there was the scene at the beginning. A soldier destroyed the Japanese stronghold, unexpectedly on the way back. They discovered the Japanese cavalry company was coming to reinforce them. The Japanese officer leading the team was called Lieutenant Colonel Yamamoto. He took a fancy to the warhorse Lao Shu was riding at first glance. When the brave meet on a narrow road, the braver wins. A great battle is about to break out. In an instant, the two sides began to tear at each other. After a battle, both sides suffered heavy casualties. Lao Shu took the opportunity to tear up the Japanese military flag. Unexpectedly, Lao Shu was separated from the main force during the chase and was surrounded by the Japanese army. Yamamoto is a horse lover and did not want Feifei to get hurt, so he decided to have a showdown with Lao Shu. Although Yamamoto was good on horseback, his mount was no match for Feifei. With Lao Shu and Feifei working together, Yamamoto was quickly thrown to the ground. As Yamamoto got up to fight again, the main force of the 8th Root Army arrived unexpectedly. They had no choice but to flee in panic. Feifei successfully completed his first mission, so the unit held a celebration banquet for Feifei and Lao Shu. Feifei was also given a bright red flower. To prove that Feifei had performed meritorious service, Lao Shu used a red-hot 5-star symbol to brand one onto Feifei's body, a 5-star mark that would never fade. It is a symbol of honor. Only horses with war merits are eligible. But Feifei did not understand any of this. It was thinking, I helped you defeat the Japanese, and you brand me with a hot iron. So, on the day the cavalry company held the competition, Feifei deliberately stopped at the finish line. Originally, it could have taken first place. Feifei did it to get back at Lao Shu. He deliberately threw the match. This made Lao Shu so angry he almost did not want Feifei anymore. But what Lao Shu did not expect was that Feifei would not cooperate with training in the following days. He even deliberately threw Lao Shu to the ground. This time, Lao Shu was really infuriated, so he grabbed Feifei's rope and started whipping him. Finally, after being dissuaded by several soldiers, only then did Lao Shu stop. And at this time, Feifei was covered in injuries. One day, Lao Shu was in a meeting. A soldier suddenly ran in and told Company Commander Lao Shu that Feifei had fallen ill and was lying on the ground, unable to get up. Lao Shu immediately went to the stable to check on the situation. But as soon as he got there, Feifei stood up again. This made Lao Shu think that Feifei was asking for something from him. Just then, 2 soldiers brought back another group of war horses. After looking them over, Lao Shu took a liking to one of them. Then a soldier reported that Feifei had collapsed again, and Lao Shu abandoned Feifei at this time, and arranged for Feifei to go to the logistics department to pull carts and transport supplies. But what Lao Shu did not know was that Feifei was really sick this time. It had a large tumor in its belly, and its body was slowly becoming weak because Feifei could not speak. It can only express its feelings with its eyes. Unfortunately, Lao Shu does not understand his warhorse. He still thinks Feifei is just sulking. And so, this horse that once earned a special commendation was assigned to the logistics department to haul supplies. Sadly, Feifei can't speak, so it endures the pain and pulls the heavy supplies, until one day Feifei finally can't pull anymore, and in the end, he was mercilessly whipped by the coachman. Feifei could only endure the pain and let the coachman whip him, until he finally collapsed on the ground. Feifei tried to get up, but after several attempts, he could not stand up. This warhorse, who had made great contributions in battle, ended up pulling a cart. It turns out that just a few days ago, the warhorse Feifei fell ill and collapsed due to a tumor in his body. Its owner, Lao Shu, thought it was just being stubborn, so he got rid of it. He sent it to the stableman to transport supplies. Feifei endured the pain and insisted on pulling goods every day. When it could not pull anymore, the stableman whipped it mercilessly, until finally, it collapsed on the ground and was abandoned by humans again. Fortunately, a veterinarian discovered and saved Feifei. Although it survived, its eyes were full of helplessness. It is not as majestic as it used to be. Meanwhile, Lao Shu, who had been gone for a long time, began to miss Feifei and started looking for it everywhere. But he could not find Feifei anywhere. But he did not give up looking for Feifei. Finally, he found it inside the Songi district government.
是狒狒，是狒狒，是狒狒，他活着，他在这儿，他活着，他活着。
So the two of them hugged Feifei tightly. They asked an old soldier why Feifei was here. The old soldier said he found it outside. At the time, the horse had a tumor in its belly, and it was already in its late stages. Fortunately, it was discovered by a traveling quack doctor. I gave him some herbs, and that is how he survived. He would not cooperate with training before. He was trying to use these ways to remind Lao Shu. Lao Shu did not understand and even abandoned him ruthlessly. After listening to the old soldier's words, Lao Shu felt very guilty and remorseful. He wants to take Feifei back, but now, to take him away, he has to write an application. Helpless, Lao Shu secretly came to the stable in the middle of the night. He stole Feifei and rode it away from here. This soon reached the commander. Lao Shu was confined for 3 days for breaking the rules. Just then, Feifei came to the window to see Lao Shu. After a few words, Feifei chose to forgive him. After that, with Lao Shu's careful care, Feifei regained its former vitality. But before long, the war broke out again. Feifei also successfully brought Lao Shu into the battle. The two of them, man and horse, weaved through the hail of bullets. With Feifei's help, Lao Shu successfully blew up tank after tank. But unexpectedly, at this moment, a Japanese soldier ambushed him from behind and shot Lao Shu. He fell from his horse. Seeing this, Feifei rushed over to rescue Lao Shu. Unexpectedly, the Japanese soldier took out a grenade, intending to die with Feifei. Luckily, Lao Shu tackled the Japanese soldier in time. Both of them were blown away by the explosion. Just as the others came to look for Lao Shu, the Japanese cavalry regiment was attacking them. They had no choice but to retreat with the troops. Everyone thought that company commander Lao Shu had died in this battle. But Feifei did not think so. It firmly believed its partner was still alive, so it braved the danger and weaved through the hail of bullets. It was determined to rescue its partner. Finally, it found Lao Shu, and it lay down so Lao Shu could climb onto its back. It was going to take its partner home. Unexpectedly, the Japanese pursued them relentlessly. At this moment, Feifei understood that Lao Shu had a heavy responsibility on his shoulders. There are still many soldiers waiting for him to lead back, so Feifei decided to lure the Japanese devils away on its own. After a hug between the horse and its rider, Feifei turned and ran towards the enemy. It ran as fast as it could, as far as it could. Only in this way could company commander Lao Shu retreat safely, even if it was the sea ahead. Feifei was not afraid and charged forward. It only stopped when it reached deep water. In the end, Yamamoto took him back. In the days that followed, Yamamoto could not tame Feifei no matter what. Reluctantly, he forced himself to ride him. Unexpectedly, Feifei took him to the river and threw him into the water. Then Feifei swam towards him and kicked him into the hospital. During the time Yamamoto was away, Feifei was treated inhumanely. Because he seriously injured an officer, the other Japanese soldiers, for revenge, took turns whipping him. They wanted to whip Feifei to death. Fortunately, Yamamoto arrived in time and stopped the soldiers' actions. Then he took Feifei back to the stable. Yamamoto thought he could make Feifei submit this way, but he was wrong. Feifei is a spirited Chinese warhorse. How could it let the Japanese tame it? Feifei proved to the Japanese with its hunger strike that it is a Chinese warhorse. Even if it dies, it won't submit to the Japanese. Yamamoto saw a true warrior spirit in Feifei. Although he is Japanese, his love for horses is genuine. If it were not for the war, he might have been friends with Feifei, so Yamamoto took out his military sword and gave Feifei the highest salute. Then he opened the door and let Feifei go home. Feifei struggled to stand up and slowly walked towards the door, disappearing into the white light. Feifei disappeared from then on. Later, some people said that Feifei had died, but some say it does not. It lives in the towering snow mountains and the lush jungles, and on the vast grasslands. Not even a Chinese warhorse has conquered it, let alone a nation or a country.